All right, guys and girls, we are super excited to be here today, and we are thrilled that you decided to spend some time with us. So what we want to do is share what we believe the fastest and easiest way to pinpoint huge, high profit potential trades in just minutes a day. And even more important is maybe you're coming to this workshop because nothing's worked in the past, right? And you're frustrated and you're wondering if anything can possibly work. Well, we're here to tell you that with the right knowledge and the right strategy, you can make it work regardless of how things have turned out before. Now, we just have to share this little tidbit with you. This is a required government disclaimer. In a nutshell, it says all trading is risky. So you have to be only trade with money you're prepared to lose. And you can pause this and read it through, but it's a typical disclaimer that anyone teaching has to provide. So with that said, let me ask you a few quick questions. You find yourself making some decent profits, and all of a sudden you have a string of losing trades, and then you give it all back. All right, it kind of feels like you're taking maybe one step forward, then two back, or then maybe two steps forward and one back. You just can't quite really get the momentum to break through and make the profits you want. Or maybe, are you confused by the markets? In other words, they always seem chaotic and they're changing behavior, so you never quite know what to do and when to do it. Have you lost a bunch of money so you're afraid to take action? In other words, now you're just kind of paralyzed, you can't make the trades, and you just keep studying the markets, buying other programs, but you just can't jump in. And how about this one? Does it seem like if you buy, in other words, you think the market's going to go up, it automatically goes down. Or if you think the market's going to go down, it automatically goes up. It's like there's a big conspiracy, and it always does the opposite. Okay, this is a common thing and very frustrating. And then finally, are you sincerely interested in making a part-time income or even a full-time income from trading, but you're just too busy? All right, this is common as well because so many people have to work a full-time job, so they don't know if they can make trading work. So there is some really good news. Yes, you can do it regardless of your experience level. And what I love about trading, it's what I call the great equalizer. In other words, it doesn't matter what your profession is. IQ doesn't matter. You don't have to be a math whiz or have a fancy degree. Your age doesn't matter. Okay, whether you're 16 or 80, there is no stopping you with the right tools and the specialized knowledge. So this young guy down here is my trading partner's son, Orpheus, and he was 10 years old when this was taken. And anyway, Nick spent a couple hours with him teaching the basics strategy that we're going to share with you today. And then he set him loose on a kind of a live micro account. So he's trading very small but real money. And he was before long making trades of 50, 60, 70 pips. And so it goes to show you that, if you think clearly, you're taught the right thing, age doesn't matter, okay? And so if a 10-year-old can do it, you guys can do it as well. Now, before we get into all the details, there is a small catch. You have to be committed to investing some time to learn some simple strategies, and you have to follow these strategies step by step. Another thing is so important, you have to have an open mind. You have to be willing to try something new. This is especially important for those of you who have tried things, they haven't worked, so you're frustrated, you're disappointed, maybe even jaded or skeptical, all right? Another thing is you have to have a positive and focused mindset. You have to believe you can make consistent profits. And then finally, I can tell you without a doubt, this is not for you if you're looking to get rich quick. In other words, you're not going to open a small $250 account and then turn it into $25,000 in a couple months. And this is not one of those Forex robots where you install it and it supposedly pumps out money while you sit on a beach sipping fancy drinks. It's just baloney, all right? It's just, wishful thinking at best. So here's what we're going to teach you in the next 60 minutes. We're going to go step by step over what we call our go-to trading strategy that we use day in, day out. Now, please keep in mind, this is the same strategy that my trading partner Nikos uses to professionally manage multi-million-dollar accounts out of Switzerland. We've also had several students take this same strategy and become fund managers as well. And we've had other ordinary traders of all skill levels like yourself put hundreds of extra pips either a week or a month into their trading account just by adding this simple technique. And finally, we're going to go over some of the software tools that we use to make trading much easier and a whole lot more stress-free. So the bottom line is you're going to walk away. You're not going to have as much fear or worry when you're trading. You're going to be a lot less confused and uncertain of what to do and when to do it. You're no longer going to feel the need to keep switching from one system to another. And most importantly, you're not going to lose your valuable time and hard-earned money. So the million-dollar question is, who am I and how can I help you? Well, in a nutshell, my name is Jeff Wild. In my kind of previous life, I was a chiropractor, but I was lured over 20 years ago into what I thought was going to be easy money in the trading world. I thought I could turn $10,000 into $1 million in a year, but I found that it wasn't as easy as they made it seem. So it took me 5 years and spending probably over $50,000 in programs to start to piece things together. Okay, so it was not easy to say the least. So once again, here we are, flash forward 20 years. I've gained a lot of experience in just about every market there is, and I've also started sharing my knowledge with people since 2003, with many traders around the world. And the way this helps you is all my experience. It's given me a really keen sense of uncovering where your sticking points are. And usually there's only about 4 or 5, 6 things that most traders find as a roadblock. And once you can pinpoint these, we can provide tools that get you past this and then to be able to make the profits you're looking for. And then finally, I'm a co-developer of a program we're going to talk about today, is the Complete Trader Program. So what you're looking right now is a screenshot of one of my trading accounts. I have quite a few, but this is one of my retirement accounts. This is a stock trading account, and you can see down here the current balance. This is another stock trading account I have here. And the thing I want to make very clear is, while we're going to demonstrate today on Forex charts, once you learn the principles we're going to share with you, you can apply them to anything from stocks to futures to indexes. So why do I show these to you? It's not to brag or to show off, but if you kind of rewinded my life many years ago, there was one point where I had a lot of financial difficulties. I was so in debt, like $50,000, that I had to declare bankruptcy. I was in a big financial hole, and because I had such financial problems, my wife said she was leaving. Okay, it caused me a divorce because there was so much stress from not having money. All right, so it was not a good place to be. So what I'm trying to show you here is that if you put in the time and you're persistent and you have the right knowledge, you can turn your life around. So I really hope you're not in a bad financial way, but once again, no matter where your starting point is, you can succeed. So here's the challenge you face as a trader. There's all kinds of information out there, and you're trying to figure out what's the right information, and you're trying to gain clarity. You want the one thing that's going to, bottom line, make you money. So the solution is what we call the Complete Trader Program. And so exactly what is this new program? Well, it's a combination of all my experience along with my trading partner Nikos. And basically we figured out all the moving parts so that you can be a successful trader regardless of your experience level. And we do this through kind of like a multi-tiered approach. First of all, we only teach strategies that we know work in the real world. It's strategies we use. These are not like hypothetical strategies like armchair trading. These are things we use on a regular basis. We provide software tools that do all the hard work for you. We provide step-by-step education in multiple formats. We also believe that in order to become really successful, you have to be trained in current market conditions on a regular basis. That's why we feature live training. And then we also, critical to your success is ongoing support when you need it. All right. There's going to be times when you get, you hit a wall and you can't get any further. And the only way to have it is have a mentor get you through it. So we have a major goal for you guys. And it's actually an obsession or passion of ours. We want to make you more profitable regardless if you're a novice or even if nothing's worked in the past. And we want to take you from struggling to make 10 to 20 pips a day to me being able to make trades that make 100 pips all the way up to 2,000. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say 2,000, I'm not talking about in a day. But we like to teach people to swing trade so that they can make pips of 2,000 pip trades. I think our record for a student is about 3,300 pips. And best of all, it takes less than 30 minutes a day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand you off to my trading partner here, Nikos, and he's actually going to teach you all the step-by-step parts of our system so that you can begin using it today. Please take notes, and we're also going to record this, so don't worry. You're probably not going to get it all the first pass. We're going to send you the replay link, and then you can kind of watch it over and over again. And it's actually, like I said, this is something we use on a daily basis. So sit back and enjoy, and then I'll be back with you a little bit later on.
Okay, great. Thanks. Let me take over for a while. Hi, guys. It's really great to see so many people again from, I think, over 30 countries today. I'll start right away. I'll just want to tell you one thing, that I have a really great surprise after my presentation, after explaining the system that you can use right away to start practicing. I have a super great surprise for you, so make sure you stay until the end, right, guys? So let me introduce myself. We have a lot of new people in here that don't know us, so it's also fair that I tell you a little bit about me just quickly. So my name is Nikos. I worked as a musician and music teacher for over 15 years before I started trading. I put emphasis on the word lost money because that was just the truth with stocks in 1999 and later on also in Forex, and it took me about like 5 years to climb up. Of course, we didn't have teachers then or software. We had to do everything via phone. We had to call to sell stocks. We had even to call to open a Forex position and then call to close it again. It was really, really tough, and I lost all the cash I have saved over 15 years. I didn't go into minus like Jeff did, like owning a lot of money, but I was zero for a time. And that's really not the best feeling, especially when you worked hard for that money for many, many years. I hope you don't have that experience, but if you do, one reason more to change this. And I'm managing private client accounts and specializing in coaching traders from over 70 countries since 2007, and I'm proud about all that. So I think that's enough about me. What is there? What are you saying? Music teacher. There we go. Hey, David. Great. That's nice. Okay, hey, Andreas, have a little bit patience, please. We're trying, to make things really clear, and if you don't have enough time to be alive, you can watch the video later on, so don't worry about it, right? It's all recorded. So, if it doesn't work, I don't teach it. That's just my slogan. If I know something, it's just not looking that great, and if I haven't practiced it on my own accounts, and I'm not sure about it, I don't feel it, I'm not teaching it. So everything we're going to show you here today, it's something that works and had worked and will work as long as we have charts, okay? Quickly also, I showed that, in August already. That's a little bit of a performance. Unfortunately, it's in German, but the numbers, the language doesn't matter. So we had some really low risk trading here, conservative trading, but the results are still great for some of our clients. This has grown since then, so I haven't updated this part, but it is over 1 million for those clients now since August. So we're getting there slowly and steady, just following in one simple strategy. And this strategy I'm going to share with you today. It's very easy to do. Also, again, as I said, we're teaching many people from all over the world. So we have members that write stuff, great feedback. Thank you guys for that, by the way. And it's also helping us, you know, to always improve and make things easier for you. So they're sharing content. Some people are making videos, like James, for instance, a trader from Mexico, is also a lawyer. And people are sharing stuff on Facebook and sending us results, and it's like that day after day. So you know a little bit about what we are doing. But I think that's enough. As Andreas said, we want more info. And what I would say, let's start practicing right away on live chats. So who is ready for that? We will go over the Spartan basic system, identifying simple basic support resistance areas and stuff, and just go into a simple basic strategy that you can start practicing also, okay? Especially for the new guys. Now, what we are going to do, setting up our charts is the first thing. It's very important that you set up your charts with the right template, keep it easy. We are looking for the direction on the charts. We look for volatility, meaning we need to have movement. If the market doesn't move, we don't want to trade. That's a simple rule you can remember from now on. Support resistance, but not each and every support and resistance area, only the one that really makes sense. Trading setups and management. Plus, I will show you some tools we're using to make our trading life easier, especially when you don't have much time or you don't want to sit in front of the PC all day long. I mean, I have a lot of time because that's the only thing I do. I'm teaching and I'm trading, and so I have a lot of time actually, and I still don't sit in front of the PC longer than maybe half an hour the whole day long. I'll check every 3-4 hours depending on what trading style I'm following, depending again on the volatility. And if I don't see any setups in making, there's no reason for me to sit in front of the charts and get all you know, nervous. So it's very important that you figure out your way, a simple and powerful way. And of course, all that, and I really mean that, all that doesn't mean anything if the mindset isn't, you know, ready, or your mind is not ready, if the mindset is not powerful. I'm talking about a trading or trader's mindset. Okay? Doesn't matter what strategy, what trading rules, and all the theory, it's all great, and even the knowledge is great, and even the trained eye on the chart is perfect. But if you can combine it with mindset, connecting really the theory of trading with your heart and with your brain, then it's really hard, and it shouldn't be hard. It should be simple and easy to do. So do we have any questions before I continue? Is there anything you want to say? Because I will switch over to the charts. Is there anything you need to ask or something? If not, okay, great. I will just quickly switch over here to my chart. And I have chosen an easy pair. I say easy. Easy. What would easy mean? What do you think an easy chart or easy pair Forex? What would that mean? Any idea? Try to keep it, you know, kind of, you know, interactive. I say something, you can reply. It's not just me talking. You say moving nicely, clear trend, 2 colors. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Trending, volatility. There we go. Yeah. Great, guys. Okay, most of you, some saying, okay, I don't know, no idea. Okay. Exactly. What we have is a simple moving volatile chart. Okay, so we have movement on the chart. What I'm using here, and I haven't changed that since forever, is just my template, and the template which you can later on, what we will do on the replay, on the page where we'll post the replay, we have a little link below where you can download the template in case you don't have our MetaTrader 4 Spartan Academy template. Okay, what we are using is simply Heikin Ashi candles. You don't have to use them, but we like to use them because they're filtering out, you know, the strength. They're showing us if the sellers are stronger or the buyers, just simply by a color change. Okay, and we are using only one indicator, and that's the EMA, moving average exponential, with 4 different settings. So we are having the 633, which is only important in combination with a big range or acting as support resistance in combination with previous touches of support and resistance. The same goes for the 200 EMA, so you don't have to remember many details right now. The 36 EMA, which is our trend following EMA, and the 12 EMA, which is the volatility EMA. Okay, if I'm too fast, you shout. Is it okay? 633, 200, 36, 12. That's it, Klaus. Okay, can I continue, guys? Yes or no? You don't even have to write it down because it's recorded. That's the magic. Can I continue? Hey, where are you? Everybody there? Can you still hear me? Yes, okay. Perfect. Now, the first thing we want to do, and that's the technical part, we go to the mindset also, and the mindset, as I said, is the most important part. But what you want to do when you trade, always, it doesn't matter what product it is, even if it's not Forex, if maybe it's the DAX or the Dow or some stocks, it doesn't matter. You want to look ideally for an easy chart. An easy chart is a volatile chart that has a direction, ideally a trend. Okay? Some people say, okay, it's always easy to trade in a trend. Okay, if it's easy, then do it. Okay? Of course, it's easier to trade in a trend. But if you don't have the right rules, if you don't know about money management, if you don't have the trader's mindset, it doesn't matter how the market looks. If it's a range or a trend, you won't make money long term anyway. It's just how it is. And you want to make sure you will make money. So first thing is look for an easy chart. Rule number 1, a trending, powerful chart. If we don't have a trend, we need at least volatility. We need to see that it's going somewhere. And the easiest and fastest way to do so is to first check the higher time frames. And let me ask all the older members or people that already know what we are doing, some of them are here, who is checking, how many people are checking higher time frames even if they trade on low time frames? Who is doing a top-down approach starting from a really high time frame and then going for a lower time frame? Who's doing that? Okay, there we go. So what's the highest time frame you usually look at? Somebody says never. Check higher. Me. Weekly, daily. Okay. There's also some of our members already in here that know the trick. Okay, great. Okay, month down. Okay, perfect, guys. That's good. And still, only 1% of all traders are looking at higher time frames. So again, it gives us a great advantage always. Okay, so remember one thing, higher time frames, looking for major support and resistance, and then going to the lower time frames and look for actual setups. Okay, so on the weekly chart, what we want to do, I mean, we don't stay on a higher time frame for long, just a few seconds after practicing, to find major support and resistance areas. So if I check this weekly chart and I take a horizontal line, I'll find easily or quickly an area of support. So we had those previous lows, this high here, and price is in this area right now. That's why I did pick this pair. Okay, so we have touches 2014, 15, and now again at 17. In the summertime, price went down, came the way back up, and it is right now here at the same level. So is that great information? Is it good information? Yes or no? It is, right? Exactly. So what else? Let me take, now that the price is here, if price is actually moving higher, let me zoom in, and it's breaking this area. The next area of resistance would be our 633, because we said, right, this is acting as major support and resistance as well as the 200 EMA. But if it doesn't, if it moves lower, okay, we need to know where our support area is, because if it's going down, we want to, see where it's likely to bounce or react. And what we do is we find an area of major support. Again, a horizontal line. So price is here. This is too close because this high and this high is, they're both close, so it doesn't mean much. We need an area of really, major support and resistance. If I look at this, look at all that. If you go back, this down here, all the spikes, and multiple touches in this area. So would that be a powerful area of support now? Previous resistance? Yes or no? Yes, right? Now what we like to do, we don't want to leave the line, the horizontal line, at the spikes or the highest points only, but we take an average price. So between the candles and the spikes, where we find the most touches, that's where we leave our line, and then it looks like that, because here we get the most touches. And now I want to do something else. We have already major support and major resistance, and if you measure the space here in between, that's about 370, almost 400 points. Okay, so it's a great nice range between where price is now and previous resistance, which now would act as support. Correct? That's all we need on this high time frame. One more thing, if it's obvious, that you can do on a high time frame like this, is drawing a support or resistance line. Now if you check all those lows, how they moved up slowly and always creating higher highs here, not that much, but higher lows at least. Here we get double bottoms, then a higher low, another higher high and higher low. If you take the lowest parts and you start connecting those from down here through this area, you will find a nice trend line, a nice area of support as well. Not at the lowest points, but between the bodies and the spikes of those candles. Guys, can you still see my screen? Yes or no? All good here. Okay. So if you extend that line from down here, just extending it, you see it's ending up in this area. And like magic, when price came down and found this area, not exactly by the pip, never, but at some point you'll see the spikes, so the sellers lose the power, and you see the first white candle. So it's bouncing on an extension here, and this is just extension of those two touches. And here's the third one, and then it's ending up here, and that is really telling you that this line is powerful. So remember one thing: to let's say define a powerful trend line, especially on a weekly, daily, and 4-hourly chart on the higher time frames, right? On all time frames actually, but the higher are really important, like the weekly and daily, is like to find 3 touches. That means price has to go somewhere, come back. On an uptrend, it would create higher lows, so we are finding those higher lows on the chart and connect those. That will tell us also in future that if price gets back to this area, it's likely to do what here? Let's assume price is coming down at some point, maybe not here, maybe it wants to move higher, doesn't matter, and it wants to get down, really like on the weekly time frame, really down. What would happen? What's likely to happen when it's reaching this area? Please, everybody, tell me what's likely to happen. Not only 2 or 3, we have like about 100 people in here. It might bounce, right? Exactly. Why? Because it did that before. We don't know, but we have a really great chance. Nobody knows, but we have a really great chance. And that alone is worth having those lines on the chart, because we know, especially on the higher time frames, if we do our homework and we have patience, we'll have a really high success rate. Exactly. Now, it can also break through, yes, but if it does, it's okay. Because if it does, we won't have any buy signal anyway. And if it does, we will have reasons to sell. So we're also waiting for setups. But those areas are the key areas on all time frames, guys. No matter on what time frame we're doing this, the top-down approach starts with a weekly. But by doing this like that, okay, you're already pointing out the profit zones, how I like to call those. Because in those areas, when prices are bouncing or breaking through, we are making our move and are most likely to make good profits. And sometimes great profits. And if we don't, we have money management rules, it's fine. It happens, okay? The trick is to really focus on the powerful areas. And that is where most traders, unfortunately, fail. They try to pick everything in between, and when the time is right to trade, they're so frustrated from and overwhelmed from too much trading, over trading, or I don't know what, that they won't take action when it's time. So if you are honest with yourself, how many times did you try to follow a system or a strategy and you're playing around because you want to take action? When the time is right, because you don't feel that comfortable anymore, you don't take action. How many times did that happen to you? It's no shame in that, guys. It's just how it is. And if somebody says that never happened to me, then you don't have a clue. Sorry. Yeah? This is just exactly. It doesn't have to happen all the time, but it had happened to you probably a couple of times for sure, you know. There we go. Yeah, Lawrence, it also happens. Yeah. So remember those powerful support and resistance lines. This information alone is really worth a lot, and we always, we often ignore this stuff and say, okay, yeah, I know this, let's go on. And then you get into other stuff, and you just at some point you're getting back at this and say, oh man, why did I not just do that, for example. Yeah. Okay, so on the weekly chart, we need support, major resistance. We need an easy looking chart. We need volatility. We draw a support and resistance line. That's really all we need on those higher time frames. And when it's done, you can start checking the next time frame. Now, like one more thing I want to show you here. What do we see on this chart? After price came out of this wedge or this range, right? It created a higher point. it found also those highs from 2015, and it moved down all the way where it came from, just to bounce again here. So now it's reaching this area. What is likely to happen here? It will either bounce because it found those major resistance areas, or it will do what? Because we also have still higher lows on the chart. What could also happen here? Very likely, actually. They will break through on the weekly chart and try to find the next area of resistance, which for now is the 633. We can just play around a little bit and find some more areas of major, previous support and resistance. So if we take another line just to demonstrate that and place it close to the 633, it doesn't have to be exactly touching it, but more or less. In combination with some previous touches here, you see you have some spikes in 2009 exactly here, some spikes also 2010, and previously also here, much earlier. But in combination with the 633, it makes this a really powerful area of resistance again. Okay, and if you look back to here, what we said about 200 and 633 acting as major support and resistance. If you look at this weekly chart, price is moving up, coming back down, touching the 200 in combination with some previous lows here, and after the touch it moved up like crazy, coming back down here, almost touching, bouncing, and then it just breaks it, and when it's retracing back on the weekly, touching the 200, also creating a lower low and lower high, boom, bouncing, ranging close to it, bouncing. Okay, you see the power of the 200 EMA generally, and here again it touched the previous highs and the 200, a big bounce. So that's why we like to look at those areas, especially when we have history on the chart. Andre, you can use all the wedges you like, no problem, of course. Breakouts out of those wedges are always great to trade, but always in combination with a top-down approach, right? So this is now our next area of resistance. We know already that we have resistance here, so we don't need to leave the line there, but the next area would be up here. And it doesn't matter how much support and resistance we find, if the price is strong and you see that there's still power in the direction of the main move or main trend, we are not trying to trade against that. That would be really stupid. Yeah, a simple word, really stupid. So we want to trade with that as long as this is powerful. So what we do is we switch to our next chart, that's the daily chart. Okay. And on the daily chart, you can draw all those lines again in the horizontal line if you want to see, just a reminder for yourself that we have resistance there. You'll see also that the price is going. Let me get rid of all the previous horizontal lines here. You know this now. Just keep the powerful trend line from down here. On the daily chart, you can start drawing more lines depending on what you want to do, but you don't have to. So right now we are here, major resistance, but price is still moving up. So we are still looking for what? Longs or short trades, just to test you a little bit, if anybody's listening. Are we still looking for longs or looking for shorts? Great, guys. Yeah, exactly. We're still looking for longs, Lawrence, until the chart is telling us something else. So we're still looking for longs just because it's a powerful trend, even if there could be a bounce here in this area and price might go down. But price has to show us that first. Okay. Now we switch to our, no, we don't switch anyway. Let's draw some lines. It's important to check those lines out. So previously we had the major bounce on the weekly line and then higher highs, higher lows. So we get a lot of 1, 2, 3s and higher highs and higher lows, we can draw a powerful trend line up to here. So let's do some historical stuff before we go to the live part to explain the system anyways. So knowing that we had major support here by drawing the line on the weekly chart, we found out that the price did create lower lows and lower highs on the chart all the time until it reached this area. It bounced on it. You can see we had a nice down move here. On a downtrend, we always draw resistance lines. On an uptrend, we draw support lines. So when the price is below the 36 EMA, remember that, guys, we have a downtrend, especially on the daily chart, right? If it's above the 36, we have an uptrend. Now we have also the crosses of the 12 and the 36 that start to indicate, you know, a possible trend change, but only if price is breaking a previous trend line. So in this case, it moved up too fast. There was no big trend line, but we had one touch here and one touch there, so 3 touches, 1, 2, 3, and then that broke and we get a crossover to the downside, lower low, lower high, a low and a lower high, a lower low and a lower high, a lower low and a lower high. Of course, at that point we know that there's major support. We expect the bounce. We have also powerful trend line with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. When that is breaking, we are looking for trend change. Bounce on a weekly chart. Main trend is up on the weekly. So we have a daily trend line break, crossover afterwards, and price is moving up. So on this high time frame, if we would just use a daily chart to trade and nothing else, you won't get many trades on one pair, but you have a lot of pairs to look at. And you would just do this simple thing: trend line break, crossover, 1, 2, 3, meaning higher high, higher low, price is moving up, creating a new high, retracing back, ideally to the 36, sometimes only to the 12, but if the retracement is good enough and it looks like a smooth 1, 2, 3 or ABC, okay, then we can literally take this trade after the break of our 2 to 3 line. That means the line we draw from point 2 to point 3 over the price, like theirs, is our 2 to 3 line. Yeah, point 2 to point 3. If that line breaks, we have a white candle. If the white candle is closing over that line, we have an entry. That's a simple, basic Spartan system. Nothing fancy about that. That's how I started making profits, how I started making things simple after struggling with all kind of complicated trading strategies that didn't work for a second, at least not for me. 1 to 3 after daily trend line break, weekly bounce, and we are in. So when you get in here and you have some previous highs up there, and you know, okay, our previous high is in this area where we have our horizontal line here. If you know that back on the chart we have resistance in this area, and you get in here, okay, what would your target be? Long-term target. Any ideas? It's important that you remember this. I need that for later. It's very simple. Exactly, right? The resistance area. If there's nothing else, then that's it. Of course, if you have some previous highs here, okay, and you know it's kind of a range, and there's also the 633, it makes this area also powerful. So of course, when you get in here, we place our stop or count protection order below the 1, 2, 3, more or less here. It doesn't really matter. We don't count pips, we count percentage. I get into that later on. So on a long 1 to 3 entry after the 2 to 3 line break, You don't have to remember it, it's recorded, right? The stop goes below the trend line or the 36 EMA or the 12 EMA, depending where the trend line is. And then you calculate and say, okay, if my if the distance, for example, from here to here is about 60 points, and from end here to here it's about like 150, is this about like twice my risk? Like if I risk 60 points in pips, let's calculate right now, but my target is 150, is it a good enough target to start with? 2 times my stop or 2 times my APO, account protection order? Yes, it is. So I have a general rule that says if my target is twice my stop, I take the trade. Boom. I don't discuss it. If it's less than that, I need to have a really great reason, like a lot of volatility, a nice setup. Like here we have a nice trend line break and we have a first setup. The first setup rule is something that I always like to mention. No secret, if a trend is breaking or trend line here is breaking and the trend is changing, the first setup that appears after trend line break, if price really wants to go this way, is the powerful one, because this will give you most likely the biggest profits. So you can remember that after watching the video. You just make your notes, don't write anything down now. 2 to 1 is good, yes, but I also like to do one more thing. I like to split my positions into multiple parts. You don't have to do that, but you can practice to split it into at least 2 parts, not 3 or 4 or 5, 2, and say, okay, my first goal is twice my stop. So in this case it would probably be somewhere here, okay, more or less, maybe a little bit higher. And if you got out already 2 targets here, you'd keep your last remaining part of the trade and target the really highest area, the resistance, high resistance. You don't have to target exactly the highest point like the previous highs here, but close to it. If you target this, in this case, because it's really far away, it's fine, or a little bit higher. Sorry guys, it's here, it's also fine. You don't have to go for that. Okay, so with your remaining lot, which we like to call the bonus lot, you make more profits. And the remaining bonus lot is really the magic part if you get the hang of this, because this will maximize the profits. Okay, now price is going up like that, great. At some point it will be over. Like if you say, no, I want to go for more, I don't think, or it doesn't look like it wants to stop, you don't have to take out the profits here. You can also say, I'll trail my stop after my first and second target got hit. I'll start trailing my stop below my powerful trend line with more 3 touches here, 4th touch, 5th on the 36. I'll start trailing it as long as it goes, and if price moves up, I make more. If it doesn't, I'll still usually get great profits out of the last lot. But that is totally up to you, comes with experience. You don't have to remember it now. Okay, now then what happens? We knew already that we had major resistance here from the weekly chart. Now the trend line, this powerful trend line is breaking. We have the crossover after that powerful trend line on the daily chart. Now what? What about the crossovers here and the first 1, 2, 3 setup with a retracement back, ideally to the 36. I really like to see it going back to the 36, because usually at that point we have also a retracement that is bigger than 50%. Like ignoring the spike, the resistance area is here. So if you calculate from here to here, it's about like 270 points, and the retracement about 160, so that's like more than 50%, right? And if we get this retracement again after trend line break, first setup, and we get in here, either this, remember we want the candle to close below the 2 to 3 line break on the 1 to 3. So here it didn't close there. There was another one, and this one did close below. You see, so here's your entry candle. Stop goes above the highs of the 1 to 3. And in this case, you have like a stop of 100 points more or less. And then you have to calculate and say, okay, where's my area of my major support area? And we know the extension of our powerful trend line is the main target or the main goal. Okay, and that means from here to here, this point, we don't go like in a straight line. We always go in an angle because the price never moves like in a straight line like that. Like this, it's about 300 points. So it is 3 times my count protection order, my stop loss. I don't like to use the word stop loss because they're 2 really bad words you don't ever want to use, the word stop and the word loss. So we exchange those words to APO, account protection orders. We protect because that's actually what we do. So let's go back here. From here to here, it's 3 times my stop. Is it worth taking the trade? Yes or no? Guys, do we take it? Oh yes, there we go. Exactly. We take the trade and it's done. It's the first setup after trend line break on the daily chart. So right now in the last 15 minutes I did explain to you the basic first entry Spartan strategy using a simple template in 4 EMAs, like one EMA is one EMA with 4 different settings. Okay. Now price did bounce here, and you can draw again a trend line. If you can connect retracements because price is sometimes too fast, you can still connect. In this case we can, but sometimes it's weird when price is going too fast, like here for instance when it's going up. But the 36 EMA is your trend line EMA. Yeah, it's like acting as your trend line. If you can't find touches like here, 1, 2, 3, you just look at the 36, then the 36 is your trend line. So price is breaking, and as you can see, after that break and after the previous bounce, we already knew that was a powerful support line coming from the weekly chart. We expected that, and after that break we really want to get into trades like that. But sometimes on that high time frame we don't always find setups, so we don't know if this first daily 1 to 3 will happen. Usually we get one, but not always. Sometimes price is just too fast on this time frame and we don't see nice retracements. Can you see the difference between this and this? Yes or no? It's easy actually, very easy. We can, right? What, only 2-3 people can out of what, 100? Come on guys, give me yes. So I know I'm not alone. There we go. Yes, right? Or I know. If not, then I know. The difference here is that we get retracements, we get a trend line break. Okay, lower low, lower high. Here we get retracements, but only back to the 12, which is also fine, but not for that time frame. And then price gets stuck. It breaks that line, it breaks the 36. We have a crossover, and price is above that. So what we do here, if we want to trade only daily charts, we of course trade at least 20-25 pairs or products. You can do 30 or 40 or 50 if you get good at focusing on those, because you won't get daily 1 to 3 setups every day. It's just how it is. You get maybe one every couple of weeks. Yeah, if you have volatility and a trend, but on many pairs of products you get more. So I know many traders and members that we have that trade only daily charts because, you know, they have to spend only 2 minutes every day on the charts before they go to sleep, because they just prepare their charts like we do here now, and before they go to sleep they just check the daily candle and that's it. Okay, But of course you don't have to do only the daily charts. It's just one way to do things with not much stress and work. Next thing is, after the trend line break and the daily trend line break and the 36 EMA break on the daily chart, we can also switch now to the 4 hourly, go back to this area and check what we got here. So that is when the first daily 1, 2, 3 happened. The trend line break happened. And on the 4 hourly chart, we have a lot of volatility, but price does only retrace back to the 12th. Now that's what we call a steep setup. It's not a perfect smooth 1, 2, 3 like the ones before. It's like ranging, moving up quickly, and not retracing smoothly back to the 36, only to the 12. So if you if that's what you do, if you do the first setups after trend line break, that's a daily trend line and the 4 hourly trend line, so 2 time frames agree, and you take every 1, 2, 3, as long as the first one after the break, no matter how the setup looks, that's a steep one, it's fine. You would just take it here, you place your stop below, in this case it's also 36, you don't have any trend lines. It's too early for trend lines. You would probably place it below the 200 here, okay? And then just, good money management and trying to get in to target long-term support, which would be this previous low down here, easy to catch on the 4 hourly, and later on the highest points, okay? Now if you don't like the 4 hourly, or you don't want to do it in a 4 hourly, you can also go down to the 1 hourly chart. So you do the full top down approach from the weekly at this point and say, let's see how the 1 hourly looks. Maybe I like it there. Let me go back. So on the 1 hourly, if you look, you got already, you have to always adjust the lines a little bit when you change the time frames. You got already crossovers here at the bounce of the major bounce of your weekly chart, okay? Support on the weekly. So if you like to get in here that early before the daily trend line break, it's also okay to do as long as you know what you're doing. In this case, you would say, okay, I'll have a trend line break on the 1 hourly. I have a major bounce on support coming from the weekly and daily, and I have a crossover, and I got my first 1, 2, 3s here. This one and this one. 200 maybe too close. Okay, then what about this one? After the 200 also looks much better. But now you have that thing in your way. Okay, this is your weekly trend line. I give you some ideas. You don't have to remember, as I said, weekly trend line in the same area where we have the 633. So if you would take this early trade after weekly bounce on the 1 hourly chart even before the break, you still have the bounce on the weekly, you have your 3 touches here if you didn't like those ones, and now you wanted to see the 200 break, which happened here. And if you wanted to go in here with a stop below here, okay, you could have done that, no problem, but you calculate the distance between your entry and that target, because now this daily trend line is still resistance because it comes from high time frame, and you have the 633 in this area, so that's like 50 points, stop about 20. Can we do this on this 1 hourly chart? Yes or no? Yes. First setup after trend line break, but for good reason. Bounce on the weekly support line, 1 hourly trend line break, the 36 can be your trend line, then crossovers and setups. Ideally the first setups after the crossover, which would be this one, this tiny one. If you have difficulties identifying that because you're new to this, then one after that looks nice, but it's still close to this area. is fine as long as the target is big enough. So the whole trick is doing your homework. Okay, exactly, close, right? You can go in there with less risk, and that brings us actually to risk and money management. One more thing, let me go. Like if you ended here and you're still in that trade with a remaining position, right? If you just trailed it with this volatile, you know, example, somebody did that. That's why I wanted to point this out. Somebody sent an email members area telling us that when they went long before the daily break on the Australian dollar a couple of days ago, and I forgot about that. And today, while I was looking at this chart, I remembered that email. So somebody's still in here because I had a question like, what should I do with my remaining lot? Because it's hitting resistance. And if you are in somewhere here, from somewhere here, with a 20-30 pip stop, and your remaining position is 500 pips, then of course you get itchy fingers, I understand. But again, as long as the price is volatile and you trail your stop, even if you would trail it on the higher time frame like the 4-hourly chart, because you know you turn the day trade into a swing trade like this, you can still say, okay, I'll just trail from down here. I don't have to draw the whole line, but you get the point. From down here still to here, okay, not too close, because you see the price likes to spike on the 36, so not too close. And if it goes up, I'll make even more. If it doesn't, I'll still make almost 500 pips, and which is great depending on how much you risk, of course, in percentage. It's always great to have a trade that makes you, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 times more than you risk in the first place, even if it's only with 1/3 or one part remaining part of the trade. And that's what you have to get good at with your with the bonus lot management. Okay, so I don't want to get into that more. It's just what will happen if price goes back to here and bounces. It will break the resistance and probably create a higher high again. So in this case, those horizontal areas are not valid, and we would look then for the next area of resistance that we did before. If price does break this and moves lower, then we would look for at least a 1-hourly 1, 2, 3 setup, or 4-hourly below that line to trade shorts against that main move. But then we have a good reason, because we have a nice break of that line on the daily chart, maybe a 1 or 4-hourly setup here, and then we can start targeting against the main trend, the 36, and later on that line. And again, you don't have to remember any of those things, it's all recorded. All right, let's go to the part where everybody's waiting for, and that's our new Spartan Power EA. The top-down approach is not really difficult once you get used to this. Okay, it's really not that difficult, but we all know how powerful the strategy is, and we know how and many of our members, all the members, already know how much profits you can make. But of course, there's still work involved, and it must be like that. You need to do the top-down approach in everything. The really great part now is that we have developed a tool that really does all the work for you. Meaning, this EA does the top-down approach actually for you. It looks for setups, it looks for trade entries, and the best part is you can choose whether you like the setup or not. You know, you don't just let the EA run and hope it will be a winning trade. You know to do the approach, you know to do the top-down approach, you understand about support and resistance and everything. But now this tool is doing work for you, and then you just check if you like what you see. You will get an alert, for instance, sent to your email or to your smartphone, and then you just have to check the charts if you like the setup or not, and if you like it you trade, if you don't like it you don't trade. So this will save you like hours, because you don't have to sit in front of the charts anymore. You can monitor, multiple pairs, products, like 20, 30, 40, 50 products, it doesn't matter, and you will only checking in detail when you get an alert according to the settings you have set, because you can do a million things with this EA to work in your favor. And me and my team, we have worked on this together for like over a year, especially one guy that really tested everything back and forth and back and forth for a long time. So it's all tested, it works great, and of course there will be always updates and little upgrades to those. We're already working on one, but it doesn't matter right now. Let me explain to you what this does and how it works, right? I mean, I wish I had a tool like that when I started trading, when I figured out my strategy, that that I could do something like that. It would have saved me so much time and frustration and a lot of money, because you know how it is. You sit in front of the chart, you want to trade, there is no signal, and you start pushing buttons, and then you regret afterwards, right? But now you save all that. You can focus literally on your success by using this simple tool. And that's not the only one. I show you another one later on as well. We have two things I show you. It won't take long. So what this EA does, let me go into the properties. It's just beautiful, guys. What it does, of course, it does the top-down approach in an easy and simple way. What it actually what it's looking for is the trend direction. So you can tell if you want to look for longs or if you want to look for shorts. We don't go over each and every setting here. We don't have to, just the real good stuff right now. So let's focus on longs on this one. Okay, we have conditions before we trade. The condition is, first of all, a crossover of the EMAs. So we look for trend direction. After the crossover, you can see we have like 4 conditions. We want to see, that would be condition 1. The second condition would be a first 1 to 3 with a good retracement back to an EMA of our choice. I like, of course, the 36 EMA. We can change all those numbers. You can do whatever you want, but we are focusing on the Spartan system now, right? The third condition would be another 1 to 3 on a lower time frame when you do your top-down approach, going from the daily to the 4-hourly, for instance, or 4-hourly, 1-hourly, or 4-hourly, 5 or 15 minutes. So that would be, for instance, a crossover on the daily chart. Condition 2, for instance, a 4-hourly 1 to 3. And I also want to see a 1-hourly 1 to 3 on the third condition, and then maybe even a 15-minute 1 to 3, right? So what I'll do, I go down here and say, okay, condition 1, crossover to I want the 12 and the 36. That's done on the daily chart. Second condition, the 36, I want a 1 to 3 on the 4-hourly chart. Retracement back to the 36 as well. Condition 3, I want a retracement back to the 36, but also on the retracement on the 1-hourly chart. And then I want to see another 50-minute 1 to 3, also retracement back to the 36. So another 1 to 3 on a lower time frame. Alerts and everything, you can place everything into here. And as I said, on an updated version, there's much more to do that makes your life even easier, but right now it doesn't matter. I click on OK, and then you will see up here, this is the pair we did choose, displaying alerts long on the Spartan Power EA. It's trailing on the 36, and the trading style right now all the time. That means it will actually point out each and every 1, 2, 3 it gets. You can tell the EA that you want only early setups, only the first setups, or the first and second, or all the time, and all the directions. But right now we just set longs and all the time. So we go back and play a little bit around. for you. Of course, you can set the risk, everything into here, and you get all those errors. Now, these things already happened, and it's a historical chart, but that's the way to explain things. So let's see what we have here. I make this chart a little bit bigger. You have a daily crossover, so that's pointing that out. That means usually a possible or potential trend change. Remember the top-down approach, right? After that, we said we want a 4-hourly 1 to 3. So if I switch to my 4-hourly chart, let me find this area from down here, just from the beginning, to give you an example. We will see, there we go. Now we had the crossover on the daily, and after that a retracement back to the 36 on the 4-hourly chart. Okay. And what happens? The A will send you an alert and say, okay, listen, you have the crossover, price came down, and here you have your first 1, 2, 3 on the 4-hourly chart, so you actually have a trade entry. Then you check, and if you like it, you take the trade. If you don't like it, you don't take the trade. You know already how to do the top-down approach. You know how to look for support and resistance. Maybe for whatever reason you don't want to take it on the 4-hour because it's too steep or you don't like it. Then you say, okay, let's go and see. Wait for the next 1-hourly 1 to 3. Now the A is waiting for the 1-hourly 1 to 3 after the 4-hourly 1 to 3 with a retracement back to the 36, and it will send you an alert telling you that, hey man, now you can trade if you like what you see, if the targets are big enough, if the 1 to 3 is nice, retracement to the 36, you said it already, you'll see all the support happening here. You like it, you trade it. You don't have to sit in front of the PC, especially when you're working or busy, or you just freak out in front of the PC, or your mindset isn't strong enough and you want to play around. This is a tool that filters out all this stuff for you, right? If you don't like it, you say, okay, 1 hourly maybe not good enough, let's go down to the 50 minutes. So you see another arrow here on this one. There's also a 50-minute setup. I just not sure if I can go back on the 50-minute chart to show you that, but you'll see it's sending the alerts. Now you get a lot of errors because we told the A to send you 4-hourly, 1-hourly, 50-minute 1 to 3s all the time, not only the first one. That's why it looks so funny, but you get the point. Let me show you one more example. Okay, just pause that and you can see now here is a different setting. I use the daily, 4-hourly, daily crossover, 4-hourly, 1 to 3, 1-hourly, and then 5-minute, for instance, for intraday traders. If the direction is right, price creating a lower low on the chart, a lower high, I set up a retracement back to the 36. Here's your entry. It will fire. The alerts will tell you, hey, you can trade if you want. If you think it's not good or you have too much support, you do your top-down approach, always manually, after you get the setups, because you want always to double check. You don't want this to trade for you automatically, but everything else is done for you. So it's a really, really powerful tool. Let me show you one more thing, another EA that is really superb. And this would be the risk management EA. Now what's so great about this tool, simply it's not only calculating the risk for you in percentage, but it's actually also trading for you. Like you can manually trade or you can set pending orders with this EA. The problem traders usually have when they lose or when they give up on trading, it's not necessarily because the system is bad or they don't have, you know, patience to trade, or they're not willing to trade and make it work. It's the money management rules. It's very important that you know the money management rules. In our system, the Spartan system, has a powerful set of money management rules depending on the trading style you're following. And that's really technically one of the most important parts. You need to understand that when you trade, you cannot expose your account to whatever 20-30% risk just hoping you get a winning trade, right? You have to follow some simple rules or make it work for you. So most traders just get into a trade, get a couple of winning trades, they lose a couple of trades, they get all nervous, they get into revenge trading, into the revenge trading mode. They want their money back, they start risking more and more and more, and then the money is gone, they're all upset, they start again, or they just give up. And this will just protect you. This tool will protect you from all these funny things that we traders sometimes do, or the little devils that are playing around in our head and make us do those things, right? Now, what you do is just placing that onto your chart and say, okay, I have an entry here, for example. Okay, this would be this will show you where the price is right now, so market price. If you want to get in, let's assume you have a setup and you want to get in and your stop is down here. Okay, you can move your stop. Actually, you can take the stop and actually move it around wherever you like. Okay, and you tell the A, okay, I want to get in here, here's my stop. I split my positions into multiple parts, 1 to 1, 2 to 1, and 3 to 1 by default. You can change this later on, of course. Then the A will calculate the risk. If you say, I want to get in here with a stop down here and I want to risk 1% because it's a great setup, that's usually our maximum risk per trade, then it will calculate the risk. It will split the positions into 3 parts and say, okay, if I have an X amount of money in this account and I want to risk 1% and split the positions to 3 parts, I can trade, for example, 2 mini lots per position. It knows that, and you don't have to worry about anything. It will open the trades with the right lot size. So you can really literally focus on your system, on your goals, on what you want to achieve with trading, and not thinking about how much do I have to risk, is that too much, do I expose that account too much, is it right, is it wrong? All those weird thoughts that actually keep you from focusing on what you should focus on, and that's just the setups and really your goals. That thing will just help you achieve this great tool. This great EA will help you with this, because you can place market orders, as I said, or pending orders. You can change the targets. You can say, okay, I want in here, stop here to buy, but I want, let's say, my second target to be higher, or the last target to be at a major resistance area. You can change all that. One things you don't change, of course, when this is your entry and this is your stop, it's calculating the risk according to the entry and the stop. After placing the order, you don't take the stop and move it, because then you are killing your risk management. Whatever you do, you leave your stop there, or you can trail it when the position goes is moving into profits, but you never place a trade with a, let's say, 1% risk and then start moving your stop against you. Okay, that's not what you do afterwards. So whatever, you get the point. This is really a account saving tool that I wish I had when I started trading. I wish I had those tools. I didn't, but now we created all that for you to make your trading life much easier. Okay, guys, that's it. Having that said, back to Dr. Jeff. Thanks again for listening to this. I hope that was very, very helpful to you, and I catch up with you later.
All right, guys, I am back, and I hope you learned a lot of new things from Nikos in the past hour. So what do you do from here? Well, there's 2 ways you can go about being a successful trader. Now, I love this little diagram here because you can see it says I can't do it. But the deal is that when you learn simple strategies like Nick taught you, you go from feeling like you can't do it to, yes, damn it, I can do it. So the first way you can do it, this is the way I did it, and it wasn't by design, but I didn't have any mentors. I was just kind of fumbling my way through. But I spent almost 5 years in my case, buying program after program, trying to just wing it, fly by the seat of my pants, putting everything together. Okay, but it was very frustrating, time consuming, and I spent well over $50,000 looking for my holy grail. Okay, so you can certainly do this. Try to figure it out. You can use all the online materials. But the reality is, and it's a sad fact about trading, is most traders, about 90-95% of them, according to brokers, lose all the money in their trading account. And often what happens is the ones that finally do make it, they might have had to refund their account 2 or 3 times before they finally figure it out. But if you do stick with it, like I did, and put in enough time, you will eventually figure it out. But, in hindsight, I wish I had a program like the Complete Trader. It would have made my life a whole lot easier. And so, once again, there's a much easier way to do it. As they say, why reinvent the wheel when you don't have to? The best way to go about this is learn a proven strategy from people who are actually doing this for many years. In addition, you want to have a strong support team of mentors to guide you. Okay, once again, you don't want to be figuring this out on your own. So you've obviously met Nikos and myself. These are 2 of your other Spartan, your Complete Trader team members here, Giannis and Tomek. These are guys who are going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting day by day. They're going to be teaching you in the live classes, and if you have any questions, you can email them, and they're always just, quick access to them. These guys really know what they're doing. So I want to just go in a little bit more detail about what comes with the Complete Trader Program 2.0. Nick was showing you our, once again, our core go-to swing trading strategy, but keep in mind that's just a fraction of what we do. We also teach you day trading, hedge trading, which is an advanced technique, but a great way to multiply your profits. We'll teach you how to scalp, okay, for kind of fast, down and dirty profits. You'll learn how to trade like range-bound markets, all right, trading range markets. You'll also learn how to trade faster, like momentum-based markets. Once again, we're going to put everything in very easy to understand videos, and you're going to get a workbook. Once again, the support critical. That's all part and parcel with this program. You're going to get the EAs and indicators that Nikos mentioned. And just reiterate again, I can't say enough, mentors mean everything. They're going to keep you motivated and help you blast through your sticking points. A big reason a lot of traders give up is they'll buy a program, then they're left on their own, and they get frustrated. So they just either give up or they go buy another program. We don't want you to do that. Okay, you're going to get 3 to 6 live training sessions a week. The reason it's 3 to 6 is it depends on volatility. It also depends on what we feel our members are needing as far as training goes in that particular week. And then another thing we haven't talked about is we have a private Facebook group. Currently, it's about 165 members in there. And this is an awesome way for you to learn from more advanced members. They post their trades there. We've had people actually pay for the cost of the program just by picking up some good trades in that program. It's also a great way to make new friends and form like little trading groups. Okay, so well worth the the price of admittance there. So if you're still with us, it tells us first of all you're motivated and you want to make this work. And you're probably saying, well, this sounds great, but what's it going to cost? So just to reiterate, we're going to teach you many different strategies, and the value of that conservatively is $997. Okay. We also give you lifetime access to the video training and workbook, value $497. And here's the deal. There's a lot of programs out there, they might charge similar prices, but that's per year. Okay, this is a one-time fee. You don't have to pay that each month. Also includes all the EA and software and future upgrades. We're not going to charge you for future upgrades, and we already have some new ones in the works. The value of that conservatively is $997. Access to a team of mentors. Easily worth $97 a month. Okay, but once again, you're not going to pay $97 a month. It's just all included in the program. Same thing. What's it worth to have 3 to 6 live classes a week? That's the best way to learn. $97 is the value we put on that, very conservative. We know there's live trading rooms out there and things like that charge $200, $300, $400 a month. And then finally, Facebook group, invaluable in itself. Like I said, some people have paid the cost of the Complete Trader program just by being in there. So at minimum, it's worth $297. So when you total all that together, $4,000 plus in value. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is affordable to everyone. Okay, we don't want any barriers to you being successful at this game. So we're going to offer, this is a special discount just for people who watch this web class, and we're going to allow you to save $500. But now please pay attention here. You have to use this discount code, which is CTSAVE500. Okay, basically what happens is when you go to this link here, CompleteTraderProgram.com, and you go to check out, there'll be a little thing that says, do you have a coupon code? You enter that coupon code and you will save $500. So your final price, once again, is $9.97, and there's going to be no monthly fees on top of this. And we can tell you this, we absolutely guarantee that you're not going to find a more comprehensive training program at this price anywhere online. We know, we've looked, and we're really driven and motivated to give you the absolute best training we can, okay, at a fair price. So you will not want anything more. It's of tremendous value. And then finally, we've had people buy our Complete Trader program, and then we won't hear from them for a couple of years, and they'll say, I just bought this other program, it looked amazing, and it was $5,000. And they'll say, I made a big mistake because I realized what I learned from you guys, which was much more valuable. So that's it, guys. I want to keep this short and sweet, but on behalf of Nikos, Tomek, Giannis, and myself, we want to thank you for staying to the end, and we really hope that you've learned some new things today, and we look forward to working with you personally within the members area, okay, the Facebook group, on the live sessions and stuff like that. So do yourself a favor, please make this the best and most profitable year you've had yet. See you on the inside, guys.